Hello, everybody. Welcome to Week 8 recap of Educated Guesses. As you can see, we are down Travis again this week. Hopefully he'll be back next week, but he's a busy guy. What can we say?
Also, why is this a recap if we're just doing this?
What do you mean?
Where you said, the Week 8 recap. I thought you meant like this is the show recap. I was like, why are we doing a show recap if we are literally doing the show? Why does it need to be a recap of... Never mind. I got it now.
All right. Off to a great start. So it's getting to be a little bit slower time in the year. Some people are out of the race. Tensions get a little high. I don't know if we want to start with the elephant in the room or if we want to go on to some topics on the recap. I'll let you decide.
I mean, I'm game for whatever because I'm going to be fired up for whatever we do because I'm bringing 110%.
All right, well, we'll start with a little bit of recap, then we'll unleash the beast. Instead of going through...
We're sponsored by Monster now?
That's like their old slogan, isn't it?
No, it's their current slogan. Unleash the beast.
That's not a very good slogan.
Right.
Although I do love Monster. But anyways, just wanted to go over some key wins and then update to some of my team rankings. I put teams into 3 categories last week. What are you holding up there?
Shadow Blaster from local brewery. Picked it up for the walk home.
Nice. Some key wins this week. Kyle over myself. Kept him a 1-win lead in the North. Jason kept him in the wild card hunt with a pretty strong win over Indy. D. Jordan barely holding in there over Philly Chris. I guess it could be stat corrected, but he's got a 3.5 point lead, 3.7 something. So hopefully that should stay. Matt staying in the fight with a win over Danny and pretty much putting a nail in Danny's coffin. And then Carlos with a win over Floyd, taking the lead in the division and bumping Floyd down a peg with a fairly close race where neither of them put up very good points. But win's a win, I guess. Any other key wins there? I did highlight Dean beating you just because it was surprising.
I mean, what else is new? Every fucking time I play that guy, I lose. It's just fucking, it's so dumb. His team goes off every single time I play. It's unreal.
I'm not going to look it up, but that's probably his best week.
I mean, AP. How many points does AP have?
I can look if you want to know, but
no, I don't. I don't want to know, but
it's
getting old. I'm at the bottom of the division.
38 points.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, he scores as many points as his age. You know, unreal. He like literally was getting points from people who never get points.
Yeah,
and it always turns out that way. It always turns out that way. And I told you guys at the beginning of the week, or the weekend, when we were chatting about in our little EG group chat. I told you this was going to happen. It happened.
Yeah, that looks like only his second game over 300 points. Nope. Yep, second game over 300. And he went to 366 on you.
Yeah. Yeah, it hurt.
Yeah, that's rough, but it's part of the game, baby.
Part of the game.
All right, so moving some teams, I moved myself and Cincinnati to the dead category. I feel like we are dead.
Which sucks, because I had high hopes for both you and Danny. I mean, I got to give credit to you for putting together a team that was practically just a bunch of scrubs, to be honest, besides a couple like key outliers. But like nobody expected Connor to do as well as he did.
I traded him immediately.
No, you held on to him for a little while.
I played him one week.
Was it 1 week?
Yeah. Oh, could have been 0 if Brad didn't pull his offer. He could have had him on cheap.
Philip Lindsay, you know?
Hey, that was a surprise to all, including Brad.
So, and then also like Cincinnati, I think he fell in the same hole that I did this season in that he didn't have a defense, or his defense severely underperformed. And
I mean, he was averaging like 50 more points a week than you.
Yeah, I mean that's
So
your
not
linebackers.
exactly the same boat, but
I mean that's your linebackers right there, right?
Yeah,
that's your linebackers. I had no linebackers, so that's 40 points gone. I mean, you're pissing away 40 points at that point.
Yeah,
and I think his offense was too good to be eliminated, to be considered dead. Like, I wish Danny would have started to make moves earlier than he did.
Mm-hmm.
I think you pulled back really early, and I think Danny was teeter-tottering on whether he wanted to go in or if he wanted to pull, or just like, or like stand still and get ready for next year. And I think if he would have pulled the trigger and moved a couple of guys that I think he could have moved, I think we would have been saying a different story about Danny.
And not rostered 7 fucking cornerbacks.
Yeah, Danny, you don't need pick 3. Like you only need 2. You need 1 for bye. Throw in anybody, and you're going to get about the league average.
I usually just have 1 or 2 on taxi, and I just promote them when I need to. Throw them back on taxi.
Yeah, I think Danny. I mean, yeah, he just needs to make some more moves because he was right there. If he would have picked up a couple of defense players, he would have had a playoff contender team.
Defensive players that were not cornerbacks. He's still got 4 roster spots left, and he's 7 cornerbacks on his team.
Yeah. I mean, I gave him Harrison Smith last week, I think, and got 20-some points for him. So imagine if he would have invested in a defensive end and potentially a linebacker. Yeah. Like we would have been talking a different story about Danny.
Yeah, is he
enough about Danny? But
I'm just gonna see if he's actually mathematically eliminated. Come on, there we go. He is 5 games behind with 5 games left. So yeah, he would have to sweep. Kyle would have to lose out. Matt couldn't win more than 2 or 3, and he would have to, I assume, he'd maintain his tiebreaker then if he swept. But it's, I guess, not mathematically eliminated, but pretty much fucking dead. Yeah. Somebody else who is now dead is Travis. His team is dead. He traded away a lot of people, which we'll get to. He still has a 6-5 record, so if the season ended today, does he have the tiebreaker over Jason? He does not, so he would just miss the playoffs. Yes. But still, mathematically in the hunt, but in a tough spot.
And I think Travis outperformed anybody's expectations, to be honest. I think everybody looked at his team on paper going into the season and said, what is he thinking?
Yeah. His offense was razor thin. And it was fucking bleak. When he lost Hunter Henry, covered off to a slow start. Ingram was suspended. That was half of his offense. So had a decent defense, carried him fairly far, but yeah, that's he's done so. And then I downgraded Floyd from locked in to in the fight just because he lost the division lead. It's getting tight over there, but the rest of the NFC stayed pretty much the same in my make-believe tiered rankings that don't mean anything.
I mean, I think it's tough to really take him. I mean, yeah, he's out of the locked in at this moment, at this point. But his team is scoring, what, 30 above Carlos right now?
Mm-hmm.
Average?
I'm not saying he's not going to playoffs or anything. I'm just saying he's not a lock anymore. That division's open.
Oh, yeah. Division's open. I think he still has it. And I'm rooting for him. I want him. I want Flawed to win. I want him to show up. Although AFC for Carlos will never die.
Yeah, I mean, there's 5 spots for 7 people between the north, south, and east and the 2 wild card spots.
Yeah.
Carlos, Floyd, Nils, Brian, D. Jordan, Barry, and Nick. Everybody else is fucking dead. Fucking dead.
Dead.
But actually, I did want to point out something else. I was looking up some trade stuff, and for Luke's team being dead, I pulled up the last 30 days. He has made 17 trades.
Well, yeah, because that's what he's going to do with his time now. That's what he's going to invest in time.
Granted, not a lot of them are blockbusters outside of the taxi claim today, but there's some decent acquisitions in here. And I was like scrolling through looking for a particular trade, and it just kept being his name over and over and over again.
Yeah, I just stopped caring after I read his bullshit statement.
I did not even read back all that general stuff. I figured if it was important, so
he posted something to the IFL website, so you should pay attention because Barry. Content, support the content. That means submit questions to our show. Support content. Fuck you, Barry.
Oh, well, I did not see this. Was this not like put in the announcement channel?
I wouldn't be surprised because Miami Brad fails at everything in the announcement channel except his own stuff.
I did not see it until now, but I read the title and it's pretty self-explanatory, I'm assuming.
Yeah. It's like you made your cop out is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any rules against tanking, assuming you set the best lineup.
There isn't. And, I mean, do we want to go down this path right now since we're on it?
Might as well. I don't think we can make it through the episode without bringing it up, so here we go.
I mean, give me your honest take on this, because when I read this, I said, like, first, wow, this is coming from Luke, of all people. If any other GM, and I said this morning in general, any other GM posted that to the IFL site, Luke would be starting a poll for his vote out. He would be nonstop harassing the owner in general, calling for them as the worst GM ever, and that they need to be immediately kicked out of this league.
So, I have not read it. I just read the title, and it says, I'm tanking, or I'm 100% tanking, or something like that.
So he's tanking because he realizes that if he continues to score points, Nick's going to get the number 1 pick.
Oh, so he does not have his pick, and that is why he's tanking.
That's why he's tanking. So Nick doesn't get the number 1 pick.
Okay. So practically the same thing Josh did last year, but writing an article about it.
But openly admitting it. And it's from the guy who literally, we don't go almost a month without hearing him call for some GM's name. For not trying. For not doing something that the league expects them to do.
Yeah.
Which is my problem. I don't have a problem with you going like around the rules. It's not written in the rules that you can't tank, right?
No.
I mean, there's nothing in there.
But I think it just says you need to set your best lineup and not set injured reserve players
or backups. Like that's bullshit. Like Luke, of all people, to do this, to come out and say this, is so fucking bullshit. And I hope that the league loses more than an ounce of respect for him, because his opinion doesn't matter anymore.
Okay, so I get what he's saying and what his strategy is behind it. I understand it from a strategy point. But that's God. And I saw the comments back and forth on not wanting to change the way the lottery picks are done, whether it's lottery or whatever, which I don't necessarily agree with. I kind of like the way we do things. It makes things tough for people rebuilding, especially when franchises get orphaned. But it's, I don't know. But I guess I'll put this out there to you. I own some picks of people in the AFC, and they ask me for trades, and I am reluctant to trade with them openly. I say I am detriment from helping you unless you give me a really good offer. It doesn't make sense for me to trade with you because helping you hurts my draft picks that I have from you.
Sure.
Would that put that in the same boat?
No, because I think that no matter what, like both you and those other teams that have traded you their picks are continually putting their best players on their roster, on their active roster. They're starting the guys who are going to score the most points. They're not intentionally starting any backups to screw you over. There are, 6 guys that could intentionally start backups for you?
Well, sometimes I'm not sure about Prendo, but I usually check his lineup.
Okay, but me being one of them, I could screw over. Granted, my points don't even matter because I put the best lineup possible and I barely score any points. But, like, that, you don't see me posting anything on the IFL site saying, I'm intentionally tanking. No. I'm just taking this with my team effing sucks. And I'm going to bite the bullet, and I'm going to let people talk shit to me like Luke. I've let Luke talk shit in the past. And for him to come out and openly be like, oh, I'm going to tank, and just DM me if you want to talk about that. Fuck off. Like, that is so bullshit. I don't want that in the league.
So, I agree. I don't like it. It doesn't look good, but it's not against the rules.
True, it's not. I said that right away.
I mean, I don't think we should be putting anybody up for a vote for this. I think there might need to be potentially a rule change. I don't know how you would confront that because it's very objective.
Yeah.
But if this was the NFL, which obviously this clearly isn't, if you're purposely tanking, it is more beneficial in the NFL because you get a better spot. But you would not sell any tickets. Your owners would be pissed. There's a lot more collateral damage to a move like this. So, I mean, he can take his collateral damage, and obviously Nick is probably not going to want to trade with him. And it might hurt his trade talks with other people. Hopefully people remember that this happened. I'm not saying, like, blackball the guy or anything, but it might make people more hesitant to trade with him because this could happen if you get his pick or some other way of doing something else like this. I don't know what other
thing would be similar, but I want to be clear. I'm not saying we need to put Luke up for a vote.
No,
I'm not saying that because he's going to quit anyway. He's going to quit before we even bring him to a vote. But what I'm saying is, as a league, if Luke tries to bring any one of us up and say, you're a shitty GM or you don't belong here, fuck him.
I could say that for I could see that for if he's calling out somebody's for inability to develop a good roster.
Name 1 month Luke hasn't tried to kick someone out other than last, the 2017 season when he disappeared because nobody was commenting on the content he made.
I guess I don't follow stuff that closely.
I follow it, trust me, because I get in matches with Luke all the time for this reason.
I mean, when I open up Slack and there's 300 missed messages in general, it's usually not worth catching up on. I'll scroll through it and be like, yep, I was right.
Yeah.
But sometimes I do read back, sometimes I don't. But then when I saw people complaining about this stuff, I just didn't read it.
I mean, it's a hot topic right now because, like you said, we have people who aren't doing anything, me being one of them. So, like, this is one thing that you can talk about, something that you can be engaged with.
No, I agree. It's definitely worth talking about. But it's
Luke, I like you. You know, I think we've had our problems in the past, and we both have made our mistakes. But like, this is a new low for you, to be honest. And that's where I'll leave it at that. That's all I'm going to say about Luke and his open statement. I think I've said enough.
Yeah, I mean, can't do anything about it. I don't like it. I imagine some people are going to remember, especially Nick, because just ask Barry about last year. So, I mean, I guess it is what it is. I'm sure everything's been said in general. I didn't catch up on that one day, but Fucking, I guess it is what it is. What I thought we were originally going to go down the path of was the people starting people on injured reserve.
Yeah, that's another thing that.
Which is an actual issue.
Yes. Yeah. I think Josh knows where I stand with him. Obviously, if you don't know, I am in the Twitter account Natradamus. I troll Josh quite a bit. I used to, at least. But again, the fact that you can't check your lineup or that it didn't submit, and you have a person on IR in your starting lineup is inexcusable. It really is.
And this is brought up probably at least once a year with Josh, just because he typically puts a pretty big target on himself, just by the way he says some stuff. But I'm sure somebody could go back and look between the time that...
Two.
What?
I have to say that because Jason corrected me. 2 people on IR. This isn't the first time that Josh has done it.
Okay. But what I was saying is I'm sure somebody could go back and look if they really wanted to. But between the time that Albert Wilson and I forget who the other guy was, Middleton or something like that, whoever it was, doesn't matter. Between when they were on IR and between when kickoff was, I bet you the over-under on how many tweets Josh had was probably like 50.
Oh, yeah. Josh tweets all the time. And like the fact that he's like,
which is fine, cool, whatever, you're on Twitter all the time, but that means you're probably at your phone or your computer, and in those 50 or so tweets, you couldn't have set a lineup.
Yeah.
But I feel like, again, this has also probably been beaten to death.
Well, and again, it's a bullshit excuse, just like we dealt with Denver, when he was like, oh, I wasn't taking a shit, so I couldn't check my phone.
You should get that checked out, dude, if you weren't taking a shit for a week.
You are backed up. You have taken too many calcium pills.
Your organs are going to move after that one.
Yeah, no. Like, it's just unbelievable. Like, I get that he likes to fuck with Barry, but the fact that you can't check your lineup, it just fucks with the whole league. And at that point, you're putting major target on your back, and you're getting people riled up, like the Andys of the world, like the Matts of the world. I can't remember who else was angry about that. I know there are a lot of people who have expressed it in direct messages.
Those are people who are perpetually riled up, but I get your point.
Barry was another one. Barry. Like,
yeah, it's a 50-50.
You're like, you can't take 5 minutes to start an actual lineup.
Well, and the killer thing is, you can't take 5 minutes to start an actual lineup when you're, quote, a fantasy expert.
Yeah.
Like, if you're some dude half-assed playing fantasy football or whatever, and you're in a work ESPN league, and you're like, oh, shit, I forgot to set a lineup. Who fucking cares? You lost your $10 entry fee.
But Spencer, defense doesn't matter. And
what defensive position does Albert Wilson play?
I think IFL shouldn't play defense. We shouldn't play IDP.
Well, then you shouldn't be in this fucking league.
Yeah.
if that's truly how you feel. But what defensive position does Albert Wilson play?
I can't remember. Maybe safety,
cornerback. Albert Wilson's a wide receiver.
Yeah, I know.
You seemed like you were genuinely confused. I was just trying to clear it up.
Fuck it off.
But yeah, if you don't think you should play in an IDP league, then why the fuck are you in a league where you start 11 IDP players?
That's what I get. Why waste your time? And I think we've had, like, I've had some open conversations with Josh before, and now people are posting the steak Twitter photos to Prime Rib, actually, to our show. This is what we've become. You know, he likes the camaraderie here, right? And I agree 100%. This is like a total escape for me, and I think a lot of other people in the league, that we use this as like a way to get away from any of the real world problems we're dealing with. But that doesn't mean that you just get like you come here just to kind of like piss around.
And whatever. I mean, you can hang out, bullshit, rag on people, but if you don't want to be in an IDP league, then don't be in an IDP league. There's millions of leagues to be in. To be in something that you don't want to be in, why are you in it? That doesn't make sense.
Play daily, which I think I'm not even sure what his. I think his predictive model is used more for daily. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I mean, that's something, Josh, I need to ask you more about. But yeah, I think it's tough. Tough to see somebody so disengaged from the league, and I think it trickles down to what Luke put out: is that anyone who gives up like that is just going to be disengaged from the league.
Mm-hmm.
There's no drive to be here. Fuck off, Nate. This isn't a goddamn cooking show.
I was laughing at Mills, but
I know, but still, I love Mills. Mills is one of my favorite people in this league. But Nate Jr., don't bring your stupid cooking questions into our show chat. Take it to direct.
Why do you even say that? They're just going to do it for like hours now.
Oh yeah, but because it's Josh and it's curly-haired Nate. I think Nate gets a perm, maybe once a week.
Probably, but that's his prerogative, I guess. If he wants to fucking get a perm every day.
That's how he stays engaged in this league. Can we get confirmation on that, Nate?
And God damn it, Mills. And again, this time of year, everybody gets into like a fucking dick measuring contest of who's more engaged and who's more on Slack and whatever. It's just
slackative. You need to be more slackative.
I mean, I'm just here to have fun and have people not be dicks, but it's hard sometimes. Anyways, I think we beat those to death. A couple trades we wanted to run through.
Sure. If people have questions, you can submit them to our mailbag. It's right at the top of the educated guesses.
Do we just want to run through these air quote questions we have?
Sure, I did get one through the messages. But...
Well, let me run through these Nate Jr. questions.
Do we have to?
Loosely described as questions. Now that the Simpsons have gotten rid of their token brown guy, should the IFL follow suit? No, that's dumb and borderline racist.
I didn't even know that because I don't pay attention to The Simpsons because it's not funny anymore.
Yep. Another question labeled Cuddle Buddies. Vegas 2019 draft rolls around and there are severe shortage on beds. Oh no. There are only twin beds. Kyle has spilt margaritas all over the floor and it's sticky and unsleepable. Spelling? Question mark?
Who's sleeping on the floor? Like why? So why are you talking about twin beds? But then he spilt it on the floor and we're concerned?
There's more to this.
Oh.
No, you cannot pick each other. And you can't pick someone who you've previously chosen. Who's your cuddle buddy? Nobody will sleep on a couch?
Well, I mean, you got to think about this, right? Because instantly, your instant reaction is going to be Mills.
That's honestly who it was, to be honest.
He's going to provide the most warmth, right?
No, dude. Have you seen Nick?
Oh yeah, well Nick's right there too.
Nick's like a human radiator.
But Nils has just got like that. He's got that little extra like edge to him, you know.
If it's not Nils, it'd be Jason.
Jason's a good one. Except he doesn't want to sleep in the same room as you because you snore so loud.
That's tough. Apparently, Kyle ruined all of the floors.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
let's not worry about that massive deposit we're not going to get back.
I almost have to say I want to go D. Jordan, but he snores louder than you. So I think I'm going to go with the teddy bear Baltimore Raven because he's so little that like he's just like that perfect little he might be a radiator, but I think he's just like he's so compact he wouldn't take up a lot of space.
All right, we don't need to beat that one to death. The worst trade in the IFL season so far, I'm going to have to go with Alfred Morris for a first-round pick. What the fuck?
Yeah, that was pretty bad. That was That was classic dolphin rape right there.
Yep. And you said you have a question?
Oh yeah. This is from Tennessee Jason. He said, Spence, or he wants me to ask you if you'd like to revisit a trade about getting Stephon Anthony back on your team.
Still no, I'm good. Man, such high hopes, but came crashing down.
Hey, I got him for like another 3 years if you want him.
I'm good.
He's cheap.
I'm good. Still, Jason, but thank you for asking every week. Does he actually send that in every week, or does he just ask you to ask me that every week?
He sends it. Well, he sends a direct message to me.
Well, yeah.
This week was like revisit. Aspens who would like to revisit a trade and getting Stephon Anthony back on his team. He said next year's the breakout year.
Well, somebody else can roll those dice, but it's not going to be me.
I'm already rolling those dice.
I know, and you're not me. So let's talk about some of Travis's trades, because apparently people are butthurt about it. He did 3 big trades over the last week or so, giving up McKinney and Von Miller for basically some dudes and 2020 first to Brad.
Yeah.
They're rentals, I believe. I'm not sure on Vaughn. He might have
Vaughn. I think Vaughn's a 1 year as well, because Travis and I spoke about this, and honestly, I said he should have asked more. I think Brad probably did his typical trading mechanism of where he talks down your players to devalue them, and then he tries to sell you on his players on how they're going to be the future. That's the one problem that you run into when you're dealing with Brad. But he's about the only buyer in the AFC right now. Matt is buying as well, but he's pretty strict on what he wants.
Yeah.
But I thought he could have gotten more. I think I think Jonnu Smith has underperformed a little bit, and I think Delaney Walker being there has hurt him. But I do like that. Yeah, I do like that pickup. Like, I think that could be a solid pickup.
Yeah.
In the first round doesn't hurt. Granted, 2 years away. But the other ones are just kind of like, Travis, you could have gotten a little more for those linebackers.
I mean, Weddle, and he's got some 1 year dudes that get him some points. Peppers is doing But yeah, I think he's just trying to get what he can for his 1 year guys.
Oh yeah.
So more power to him.
I tell you, as a guy with a lot of 1 years, nobody was biting today.
Well, his next trade was with Tennessee Jason. He traded away Jordan Howard, Mark Ingram, punter, Casey, cornerback Chris Harris, Trey Boston, and Devin McCourty.
Yeah. This wasn't. Oh, you're going to talk about his too?
Well, for Dalvin Cook, Leonard Williams, Olivier Vernon in that massive contract, and George Iloka, as well as a punter, and Cordell Patterson, who's might be a running back now, given he got like 9 carries yesterday. I mean, I think this was him consolidating guys for hopefully the long-term outlook of Dalvin.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dalvin was obviously the major component of that deal, but again, it's another offer that I think when I was talking with Travis, I felt like he could have gotten a little bit more for those players, because he gave up. Granted, I think Ingram's a rental.
Yeah.
Is Howard a rental as well?
No, he's got 1 more year.
Okay.
But I think everybody else was a rental.
Okay, Trey Boston, yeah, rental. I think you could have gotten a little bit more than just Dalvin Cook. I think Jason got a pretty easy deal there.
He got Leonard Williams, who's not terrible, and
yeah,
Olivier Vernon is the fucking
he's good. He's good when he's not playing outside linebacker.
Yeah, but He will be. I thought he might get traded today, but that didn't happen. And then Travis's third one, which I think is his worst one. He gave up Drew Brees to Brad for Ryan Tannehill, Martavis Bryant, Brandon Marshall, Equinemius St. Brown, Tywan Taylor, Marquez Vandell Scantlin, Delaney Walker, and Devin McCourtney. And a fifth and a sixth.
Yeah. Wasn't a big fan of this, to be honest. And
he should have gotten like that one of those 2020 firsts from Brad for this.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think Brad probably upped the value of those Green Bay wide receivers a little bit. Knowing if I was to know Brad, that's probably what he did. But I do like those two options in this little package. But yeah, like he's not getting any immediate pieces or like pieces that we know are going to be steady future contributors.
Yeah, you got Tywan Taylor back, who's might be decent, and who knows what Martavis Bryant will be. I guess I'm not sure what that contract is. Well, yeah, that's the one that I was a little disappointed in. Thought he could have got a little. I would have liked to see him get a pick out of it. Yeah, Martavis is a rental. Yeah, kind of a bummer. Thought he could have got more, but
yeah. Again, we're not Travis. You can't read his mind. Yeah. And I think the important thing to remember is, anytime an owner makes a deal, like they have a certain plan in their mind. And as much as people want to like rip apart the trades and break them apart, like Dallas Bryant, I think breaks apart everybody's and Luke for that matter. Like they have a plan. And as much as I think Travis undersold, I don't know his plan. I don't know what he's thinking in terms of like what his future goals are for these players or what he values them at. Maybe he values them higher than I do. I don't know.
All right, a couple more that I had in here that were not Travis was Luke and Nils trading Kyle Van Noy for a second. I'm trying to find the contract on that, but I cannot find it. Where are you? Kyle Van Noy. 3 years, that's a really good contract. So, yeah, that's a good deal. 3 years, like under $1 million. So, that's good. That's a good contract. Or was that not? Yeah, that was Nils got him from Tampa Bay for a second. So that was a pretty good trade. Interesting to see Kyle Van Noy go for that much, but given on that contract, that's a pretty good deal. And then Latavius Murray and a third for Jordan Reed and a fourth. Not sure Corey's playing there. He's not going to compete this year, so I'm not sure why he gave up a higher pick.
What pick are we looking at again? Sorry.
Latavius Murray and a third for Jordan Reed and a fourth.
I mean, that's classic Matt deal, where he gives you a player, and you're gonna do a pick, and there's gonna be a 1 round difference in the pick exchange. Classic Matt deal.
I'm not sure what Corey was thinking there, because I thought maybe Murray was on an expiring contract or something, but he's not. He's got 1 year left. Granted, I'm not sure what kind of value we'll have when Cook gets back, but Jordan Reed's not on that great of a deal. He's waiver tag eligible, but he's on a $9 million deal. So that's a tough one to waiver tag, which is a good transition into my next topic. For all those people who are out, plan your fucking waiver tags. Stay on the waiver wire. If you don't already have like 3 to 4 waiver tag options on your team right now, you need to start picking people up for next year. Because waiver tag, in my opinion, is fucking awesome.
Laying down knowledge. We have a segment about Spencer laying down knowledge.
You're not going to get like...
Give it to him. Give it to the people.
You're not going to get like probably the next best guy, but if you can like waiver tag like a cheap cornerback that's really good, or a cheap like punter, kicker, or even a deep skill position, especially if they're on a rookie deal or second year deal, and you can waiver tag them and then always throw them on a taxi and dump them if you need to. But it's like, in my opinion, one of the most powerful things we have in this league is the waiver tag option. I can't think of a great example. I mean, I got Quincy Enunwa, who I eventually traded on a waiver tag deal, which is super cheap, and he was looking good until he fucking died on the field last year. Then I got one other guy on waiver tag. I can't remember who it was, but it's part of what makes Dynasty great is you can grab those fucking fringe guys that are just hanging out there, but you believe in that player and you can sign them to a deal next year. So.
I'll tell you this. My favorite waiver tag of all time right now, Jalen Richard. Let me repeat that for all of you. Jalen Richard. Okay. Scooped him up. Training camp. First waiver wire availability. Yeah. Spencer's correct. This is what we live for. Hello?
I don't know what you live for, but it's...
Live for. We live for this. This is where you find those gems. You get them for just years on dirt cheap contracts.
Yeah, like... people aren't even looking at injured reserve players, too. That's a perfect place. Grab them, throw them on IR.
I'll tell you what. I try and go for injured reserve people all the time. I try and make trades for people who are on injured reserve, and those efforts never trade them to me. I don't
take them off waivers. Can't waiver take a trade.
Can't get them off waivers.
Why not?
I can't get them. Nobody wants to trade with me.
You just pick them up. They're on waivers. You don't need a trade.
No, I'm not saying the waiver people. I want people off of individuals' IRs. But nobody wants to trade with me.
Well, I got plenty of people on IR that if you want them.
Sure. I'll look.
Everybody but Will Disley's available because he's probably going to be waiver tagged. So, anyways, I think that's all our topics. We checked the mailbag one more time, see if there's any last-minute submissions.
Oh, we talked about NFL trades.
Oh, I mean, that got beat to death pretty good.
NFL trades?
I'm really into the phrase beating that to death. I don't know what that says about me. I've said that like a lot of times today. Well, I'm not going to go there anymore. Demaryius Thomas to Houston for a fourth.
Cheap.
They lost Will Fuller. It's actually not a rental.
Freak ACL.
It's not a rental. I think it's might be an option at the end of that contract. I don't remember. I know it's not just a rental. But I know he's pretty expensive, and he'd probably be cut because of the cost. But they might keep him, might not. I think it helps. I'm not sure what DT has left in him, but it's another body to have there. A veteran with, I guess they don't really have a ton of young receivers outside of Kiki now, since Fuller's down.
Kiki, do you love me?
Tate to Philly.
What do you mean they don't have many other wide receivers outside of Fuller?
Young wide receivers.
Oh, well, how old is Hopkins? What's he at these days? I've lost track.
26? No, he's not that old, is he?
So is that on the cusp of old?
No, not for a wide receiver.
Is that on that cusp?
Oh, fucking nailed it. He is 26.
That's the cusp of old for you. Cusp.
Depends on the position.
Cusp.
That doesn't answer my question, but yeah, it depends on the position. But yeah, I think it's a good move. Houston needed another wide receiver, so.
Yeah, and that just, again, it opens up one of them. You know, like, because obviously the focus is on Hopkins, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's maybe a marginal decline because I don't think a lot of the Fuller targets are going to go to Demaryius, but maybe some of them.
But maybe that opens up some of those intermediate targets because what does Fuller run? Deep routes every time?
Mm-hmm.
And granted, Demaryius Thomas can't run deep routes anymore. He doesn't have that speed.
Yeah. So Kiki will probably come back for that deep route. Hopkins might be going deep more. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ask somebody who knows about air yards or something, they'll tell you. Golden Tate to Philly. Thought that was an interesting move.
I feel like Philly is just the team that wide receivers go die at. You know, like they picked up Alshon, and everyone thought that was going to be like a great pickup.
And they won a fucking Super Bowl, so you can't really knock them too much for it.
True. And again, I can't remember his stats off the top of my head. We don't have our stats guy here to tell me last year's Alshon stats. But again, how much did he contribute, and how much has he contributed this year? I think he's had like one good game that he came back for.
Yeah.
And they got Aguilar. Okay. He's done all right. I mean, they rely on their running backs as pass catchers.
Yeah. Well, the running backs are not great.
But I think Tate definitely boosts Wentz value a little bit. You know, like, because now you actually have a wide receiver threat. A guy who's proven, a guy who's done it with another veteran quarterback, you know, a top tier quarterback that we all know of. And he's put up solid numbers. So
one other thing I'll say about Tate is he has not really had a bad quarterback. He went from Russell Wilson to Matt Stafford to Carson Wentz. It's a pretty fortunate wide receiver career.
True. I didn't even think about that. I remember, he went from Seattle to Stafford for a couple of years, and now
he'll be a free agent at the end of the year. But
yeah, but he's going to be probably a primary target because Alshon's going to take, you know, I guess I don't know who's covering him. If it's the number one CP, I would imagine. At this point, he's getting the number one cornerback.
Yeah.
And no one else has really drawn anybody off, so I imagine he's going to thrive in that system.
I mean, they have Ertz. He draws some attention.
Why did Minnesota Wade leave?
I don't know.
I got him.
Okay. Thank God. Clinton Dix to Washington for a fifth. That one was confusing to me.
Super surprising.
The Packers don't have the best secondary in the league by any means. And
he was their best one this year.
I mean, like, tackle and stuff-wise, I don't know how.
Well, yeah, because they let everything leak through.
Yeah. I was just going to pull up and see what his grades were.
Leak through isn't the best way to describe that, is that? It's kind of
it's pretty gross.
Yeah. I'm not really digging that one. Leak through. If anyone has a better terminology for that other than leak through, I would be open to take that. Yeah, if you're leaking, you have a problem, right? If it's coming out the front end or the back end, if it's leaking, get that checked out.
Some free knowledge for you.
You've either eaten Chipotle or you have some other issue going on.
So I guess we should almost put a poll out there. What was better advice today? If you're leaking, get that checked out, or use your waiver tags. We cover a lot of topics here. Yeah, for what it's worth, according to Pro Football Focus, they think pretty highly of Clinton Dix.
And then they rate him as like one of the best ones. I think I saw that tweet.
Third overall of safeties. So then the Redskins got a hell of a deal, I guess.
Yeah. For that cheap.
Yeah. He's in a 1 year
also,
deal. Or he's in
fuck you, Nate Jr. You know I don't go to med school. Fuck off.
Potentially an equally surprising deal if you would have said that this was going to happen a week ago. Ty Montgomery for a 7th-round pick to Baltimore.
I still think that's cheap. I mean, you look at what
Green Bay, fucking cheap, but they were going to cut him. And
okay, maybe I missed this, but I guess one of the posts I saw on Twitter was something about, was that a 2027?
I don't know.
My tear just moved in the background. Yeah, if that's a 2027 and they did that,
they pretty much just gave him to.
They just gave him away. Like that's 2 years down the road.
Yeah,
but to go from a starting running back to traded away for 7. Oh, that's low. That's a new low for the Packers.
Yeah, and will he be a running back or a wide receiver?
I think they're bringing him for running back. To be honest, who else do they have there? Collins, who was arguably overrated, and that's part of the reason why I underestimated Indy's team. Was I didn't think Collins was going to get the workload.
Yeah.
Well, might have gotten the workload, but wasn't going to get the production.
Yeah. Anyways, crazy. And then the last big one was Fowler to LA for a 3rd. That D line's going to be spooky.
I mean, do you think, does he fit there?
I mean, I would hope so if they give up a 3rd for him.
I guess, what do they have? They had a couple of rookies at that defensive end position, outside linebacker position.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. I think he'll be, this is his last year of his deal. I don't remember. He might have one more. Was he a 1st-round pick or was he 2nd?
I believe he was a 1st-round pick, and then he, I think he tore his ACL like
right away. That's right, 2015. Yeah.
So I think like him coming out of college, out of Clemson, I think everybody had really high hopes for him, and I don't think he's flourished in Jacksonville. So I hope that he can do something, revive his career in LA. But man, to be valued above Demaryius Thomas, Clint Dix, and Ty Montgomery,
yeah,
that's shocking to me. Especially, another defensive player. Shocking that went for that low, and they got a 3rd for Fowler.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm not a GM, as evidenced by the team I've assembled and the points that I put up every week. I wouldn't last in the Browns organization for about a week, but I think that's really low.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the last of our topics. You got anything you want to cover? We're just about the hour mark.
I mean, I think I've aired all my demons out.
It's a weird thing to do with demons.
Demons. No, I think I've said what I wanted to say, specifically on the major topic that we're having in the IFL. And obviously, if you go back and read our channel, you see people bringing it up again in our channel. Even though, again, if I'm going to use Spencer's words here, it was beaten to death in general, and we beat it to death over here. I just would challenge the league to kind of, let's not make the same mistake that Luke did and try and pull that shit again. I think we are smart enough as 32 individuals to come up with a solution for this. Whether it's rule or just like an honor code thing, this shit shouldn't happen in the league. It's really sad, and especially from a GM who considers himself as one of the greats. If we had a Mount Rushmore of IFL, Luke would put himself first and foremost.
That's a rabbit hole I don't want to go down. Mount Rushmore of IFL.
Yeah, you're right. I don't want to. I think Jai belongs up there.
Yeah, I mean, Jai and Brad, probably the people who started the league. So I think those are kind of given. If anything, those would be the quote-unquote founding fathers.
True. Kurt belongs up there. Kurt, for sure.
Yeah.
Not based on his team, but based on what he provides to this league. 100%. One person I know who doesn't belong there, Dallas Bryant.
I'll second that.
He's pure human garbage.
I don't know if I go that far, but he doesn't belong on any monument, that's for sure. But
Dallas Bryant's if any of you have been to Mount Rushmore, right? There's just like the fallen rock underneath. Dallas Bryant is at the bottom of that fallen rock of the IFL. He's so deep underneath there that again, nobody even notices him.
So he's below all 31 other owners.
Oh yeah, 100% on character. Yes, 100%.
You just spent like 10 minutes ripping into Luke, and yet all of a sudden, oh shit, that was loud. All of a sudden,
well, him and Luke both belong down there for sure.
Okay,
Dean,
I'm just glad they have company down there.
200%. Dean is below there.
There
Dean might be 32nd.
There can only be one 32nd person.
Can I ask you one question? This is the one question I have for the EG mailbag. So Travis made that trade, the last trade in general. And we have Dean who comes in and says, "Damn, giving that shit away." How does that quote make you feel?
Me?
Yeah. How do you feel about Dean's statement right there about Travis just giving away players?
I mean, he has not made some good trades. So that's definitely, if anything.
Wait, Dean or Travis?
Fair to say both, but I was going to say Dean has had some real stinkers there with Brad. It's definitely a pot calling the kettle black best case scenario for Dean.
My favorite is Dean. I honestly, that was one of the first laughs I've gotten in a long time from General. Because I've seen your trade offers, Dean.
Oh, God, they're real bad. Real bad.
A first and a second for AP. You're lucky Matt paid practically that. But by God, man, get your prices in line.
Yeah. Well, on that weird note, I think we should wrap it up. We're at an hour or so, and then people get real mad. People get real mad when we go over an hour. So, same time next week.
Always. Get your mailbag questions, people. Yeah. We rely on the questions. As you can see, we didn't have a productive night.
I think
without your questions.
We were above average today. I'll give us that. Like a B minus.
Wow, we didn't even what? Okay, I guess I can't even say that because we wouldn't know the shows off the top of our head. But I was going to say, what was your favorite show that we've done? What would get an A?
Fucking fine. I don't remember what we did last week.
Do we have an A show?
Probably. There's probably an A or so out there.
Maybe. I don't. It hurts. Oh, we got an A minus from Barry.
It's all that matters.
It's all that matters.
It's written in stone.
It's what the people say.
All right, we're out of here. See you guys.
Peace.